Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast, your go-to source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We hope you tune in often for all things people management, organizational development and change, organizational leadership, and social impact related. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with Human Capital Innovations Podcast. Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. In this HCI podcast episode, I share my recent Forbes article, Futures Literacy and Developing a Futures Thinking Mindset. Welcome back to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. It's great to be with you again today as I share a recent Forbes article titled Futures Literacy and Developing a Futures Thinking Mindset. These days, uncertainty is the name of the game. Business and community leaders have to grapple with complex societal drivers of change, including disruptive technological innovations and the shifting geopolitical and socioeconomic landscapes resulting from globalization. UNESCO explains it this way: the future is uncertain. Climate change, pandemics, economic crises, social exclusion, racism, the oppression of women, intergenerational conflict, and more shattered the conventional image of the future that humans used to plan, to feel secure, to be confident enough to invest in tomorrow. With no shortage of existential obstacles facing the organizations of the future, leaders both bear the burden of responsibility and have the opportunity to address these challenges to prepare their people and their organizations for the future of work. Developing futures literacy. The problem is there is no crystal ball and no one can actually see the future. Once more, we all have generations of ingrained social programming through existing norms and culture with the associated prejudices and confirmation bias. As a recent Medium article put it, they have limited our ability to imagine outside predefined paradigms or to sense and make sense of phenomena that may not belong to pre-existing models. If we want to prepare for an unknowable and uncertain future, we must seek meaning and images of the future that fundamentally break free of these constricting paradigms and pre-existing models. So if no one has a crystal ball and we can't know the future, why even bother? Why is it important to develop a futures thinking mindset? One way to think about this is what is called futures literacy, which we should consider every bit as essential as other forms of literacy in the workplace. UNESCO defines futures literacy as a capability. It is the skill that allows people to better understand the role of the future in what they see and do. Being futures literate empowers the imagination, enhances our ability to prepare, recover, and invent as changes occur. In other words, through futures literacy, we increase our ability to effectively see through a glass darkly and look into the messy, complex, and unknowable future and persevere in creating a clear vision for our people that we can then work towards fulfilling. Developing a futures thinking mindset. Recognizing the importance of futures literacy, how can we develop a futures thinking mindset? A recent Medium article outlines two important factors. One, take an interest in the possible, not only the actual, and two, understand the changing system. A futures thinking mindset requires us to foster hope in what may currently seem likely unattainable, but is still possible, however improbable. If we are only focused on the observable here and now, without stretching our imagination and exercising our optimism, we will always fail to see around the corner and prepare for future disruptions. Additionally, as we continually scan the external environment, to better understand the underlying mechanisms and systems at play and the drivers of those changing systems, we can tie our imagination and optimism to creating a clearer understanding of how to drive needed systemic change to generate the future we hope for. Scenario planning. Another way to build upon the possible and understand the changing system that impacts our unknown future is through scenario planning. As defined in a recent Forbes article, scenarios are alternative futures in which today's decisions may play out. They are stories with beginnings, middles, and ends. Good scenarios have twists and turns that show how the environment might change over time. One way to approach scenario planning is through employing utopian, status quo, and dystopian typologies. Utopian scenario. A utopian or best case scenario helps us think through what possible positive futures might look like. While a utopian scenario may be unlikely, it can provide us with something to strive for and can generate the hope and purpose that can lead to behavior change. Even if we don't ever arrive at the full utopian outcome, coming up short in our shooting for the stars, we can still see dramatic improvements. Status quo scenario. A status quo scenario helps us think through everything that will need to happen just in order to keep things the way they are. Maintaining the status quo is a difficult task in and of itself, and it is important to recognize how much work and how many resources it will take just to sustain current initiatives, programs, and events. A status quo scenario isn't exciting and usually won't capture the imagination of your people, but it can be a good way to plan for sustainable future outcomes. Dystopian scenario. Nobody wants the dystopian outcome, but it is vital that we be clear-eyed regarding the threats we face and that we systematically work through how we will respond to a range of unforeseen challenges and obstacles in a complex and unknown future. Just like utopian scenario, dystopian scenarios are also unlikely, but having a healthy acknowledgement of what could go wrong will help you plan and prepare. Conclusion. As the saying goes, in this world, nothing is certain except death and taxes. A corollary to this is that we can count on uncertainty, continual disruption, and constant change all around us. We get to decide how we choose to respond to this uncertainty. Through developing a futures literacy capability and fostering a futures thinking mindset, we may not be able to see into the future, but we will be better equipped to prepare, plan, and innovate to create the future we hope for. I'm excited to announce the publication of my new book from HCI Press, Bluer Than Indigo Leadership: The Journey of Becoming a Truly Remarkable Leader. Early in my adult life, I learned about an Asian proverb that translates as bluer than indigo. If you think about the color indigo, it is a brilliant, deep, and vibrant blue, what some would call the bluest of blues. To have something that is bluer than indigo is rare and truly remarkable. Contrary to popular myth, there is no one-size-fits-all or cookie-cutter approach to effective leadership. There's no silver bullet, no secret sauce, no go-to model that will solve all of our problems. The truth is, great leaders have all had their unique strengths and flaws, and have all had to discover and then pave their own distinctive path in their life's journey to fulfill their leadership potential. Bluer Than Indigo Leadership will help you discover your own path and explore those ordinary, everyday actions that will help you respond to an uncertain future and produce extraordinary results for individuals, teams, and organizations. The alchemy of truly remarkable leadership. Ordinary, everyday actions that produce extraordinary results. Consider how the nature of work has shifted over the past 50 years. With increased globalization, rapid technological advancement, and the shift in economic composition, the average job of today looks very different than the average job of 50 years ago. What will the jobs and organizations of tomorrow look like? Moreover, what does this all mean for organizational leaders? What are the core competencies and capabilities of organizations and their leadership that are prepared for continued disruption and geopolitical and socioeconomic shifts? Regardless of what the future holds, increasingly, leaders need to be socially minded, data-driven, decisive, champions of talent, and disruptors of the traditional notions of leadership, teams, organizations, and work. The alchemy of truly remarkable leadership will help you to explore your own leadership competencies and capabilities and consider ways to apply and implement them into your workplace and personal life. Check out Human Capital Innovations magazine, Human Capital Leadership. Human Capital Leadership is a free, interactive e-magazine with the mission to help individuals, leaders, and organizations find innovative approaches to maximize their human capital potential. We publish issues quarterly in August, November, February, and May. Take a look at the latest issue and let us know what you think. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. I hope you stay healthy and safe and that you have a great week.